Hello, Paul here from EMD. Just want to show you this car here. This customer bought this car from, I'm not sure where he bought it from, but someone put a pump in the car. When the car came in, the car was towed in because there's no, you can't start it because starter motor was gone. Wasn't working at all. So the customer gave me a starter motor to put in. But what you have to understand is when someone else work on the car, I don't even know what they've done. I've got no idea, no clue what they've done. So this car here, those lines here inside there that I showed on the previous video, one of the lines popped off, and then for some reason, right environment, it's already hot, the engine bay was already hot, went up on flames. But luckily we usually have a fire extinguisher next to the hoist all over the workshop. I've got about 7 or 8 all around the workshop, small ones, big ones, different sizes. And it's to avoid running and looking for it. It should be right in front of you. So we got this car, had to spray the whole work. We had to actually stop work on the whole workshop because we sprayed this car so much. All the stuff from the actual fire extinguisher came out, and pretty much went on the other cars in the shop. So we had to actually stop working, push all the cars out one by one, and actually give it a wash. At the same time, wash the floor because the floor was covered in the ash from the actual fire extinguisher. Back to this 911. When it came in, put the starter motor in, starts, but the car was running rough. It doesn't even run properly. You name it, popping, hard to start. You have to crank a lot to get it up. So you got to use the little lever for the actual cold start. Pull it up to actually try to get the car running. Someone put a pump in there, didn't adjust some of the actual airflow properly, and I don't think the actual problem was the actual pump. I reckon the problem was just the low compression and valve leak down was bad on the car, causing the actual hard to start, and adjustment on air and idle. It's a mixture of all stuff. That's why I had to do a video to actually make you guys understand. When you give me a car to work on, it's really hard for me to find out what they've done. So what I've got to do is test and try my best to figure out what they've done to get the car running properly, and then from there do other stuff on the car. So let me show you how the car starts now. This starter motor, it's a bit funny. It was running all the time now, but now it's actually sort of clicking a little bit. I tried to look at the switch. It's not the switch. It's actually not sure if the starter motor is strong enough or the teeth in the starter motor matches the actual ring gear on this engine. I've got no clue because I don't even know the history. But let's have a look at the first start. Ready? Look at that. Take me 1 second to start this car up after all my adjustment. Give it a rev and the light will go away. I don't really like this. There's so much movement on this one here. Look at that. So old. And anyway, I've got oil pressure. Oil pressure is there. All the gauges work. All the lights are off now. I spend more time on the engine to get it run properly because there's so much stuff that someone worked on that even. Anyway, there's no point talking about it. Makes me angry. Sometimes some of the adjustments, like if you're a customer of old vehicles and you drop it off to me, you gotta understand it takes a long time because I might be not working on the car, but I do a lot of tests and a lot of adjustments to actually find out why the car's like that. Even wiring diagram, even double checking everything, even though I don't even know what they've done. So So if you look at it now, totally different car now. Let's give it a nice one more crank. So I had to adjust everything to compensate for the low compression and actually valve leak down test. The valve is leaking as well, so you can do it the proper way by the book, but you gotta at the same time you gotta adjust it outside the tolerance to make it run properly. Otherwise you'd be sticking by the book but nothing really works. Alright, so I'm gonna put that on, go for a road test later, and then I'll come back and I'll try to do that light there. The reason why I didn't do the light is because the actual I had more problem with the engine to get it run right than before. Sometimes you think you can do it straight away, and it just takes you hours and days to muck around to get it right. So, okay, thanks for watching. But this starter motor, sometimes it clicks. Not sure why. I'm trying to actually do it. Hopefully, it will click now. There you go. Heard that? Not sure if the battery is strong enough. It can happen. If the battery is not strong enough, and then the starter motor will act like that. So sometimes you need to put a little bit stronger battery than the actual normal one, because the engine's old, everything is hard to turn. So on a brand new engine, perfect whatever battery you want to put in according to factory, but when the engine gets old and old and old, they got resistance, they're worn, everything is worn, the rings are worn, harder for the actually starter to turn it over, and I think that's the problem. It's just the battery. So what I'll do is I'm gonna hook up my jump starter battery to this one and crank it, and if it doesn't do it anymore, then I'll advise the customer just to change it himself, put a bigger battery in there, just a bigger, same size but bigger capacity. Okay, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.